experiment, discover, try something new, go take a class, go online. There are so many opportunities. Join a group that does crafts. I think we limit ourselves, right? We have all this self-doubt. It's probably not going to look that good. Oh my, I wouldn't want to show it to anybody. Don't show it to anybody. Just do it for yourself. I get this immense satisfaction out of every single thing I create.
Welcome to the McKinney Podcast, the show that celebrates what makes McKinney unique by nature. This podcast exists to spotlight the people, the organizations, and the events that shape our great city. You can count on every episode to tell a compelling story and help increase your awareness and perspective on what's happening around McKinney. Your hosts for this fun-filled adventure are Fred Mahusay, owner of FredShots Photography, and James Jenkins, CEO of RiskWell. Connect with us on YouTube and on our website, McKinneyPodcast.com. Now, let's get into it.
Welcome back again, ladies and gentlemen, to this next episode of the McKinney Podcast. I'm Fred Mahusay, and James Jenkins, your lovely co-host, is not here right now because we do own businesses and we do have to take care of certain time-sensitive things. And this was a audible at the last minute, but that will not change or diminish anything about this episode because it's not about us; it's about who we have in the studio. And today we are joined by Linda Bonner with Linda Bonner Studios. So, Linda, welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Absolutely. I've known you now for, decade plus.
Yeah, probably.
When it comes to McKinney, you are one of the legendary names around here, and people will always say the same thing. She's so sweet. She's so kind. She's so caring. She's so thoughtful. She's all these things, and she's an artist, and a published.
Author?
A published author. I was like, and a published artist, that doesn't make any sense. Haven't had any coffee yet. I'm running on, breakfast on water. So brain synapses are a little bit slow. So Linda, we always like to start off our podcasts with asking, a basic question of when your feet first touched the earth, what state was that in?
Michigan. Yes.
Where in Michigan?
St. Clair Shores, which is a suburb of Detroit. It's
where is that on the which hand do I hold up? Is it the right hand or the left hand?
Whichever one. It's here.
Okay.
It's somewhere around there. I was born in St. Clair Shores, actually at a hospital in Detroit, but moved to St. Clair Shores. And the typical middle class family, mom and dad, firstborn of 4 girls. My poor dad.
Did you have a dog? Was it a girl also?
No, we did not have pets.
Okay.
I will tell you a quick story. We talked my dad into letting us have a cat. And it was, very nice, kind of from a shelter. Mm-hmm. He woke up one morning and the cat was on the counter. The cat never showed up again. What happened to the cat? Don't know. So that was the end of cat. We had goldfish.
Do you have suspicions?
Yeah, just a few.
But it's funny though, because goldfish are on the counter all the time.
Yeah. But, that cat, that sent him over the edge. So
really?
No more pets.
Okay. Too funny. Okay. So you're there in Michigan. What was young Linda like?
From what my mom tells me, from what I remember, I was always very organized, right? Even my room was done. We had a lot of family around. That's back when you lived near family. So we'd go visit cousins and, spend time with aunts and uncles. Voracious reader, which I've kind of returned to recently. And then I have, I mentioned I'm the oldest of 4. I have one sister that was born 2 years after me, another one that was born a year later, another one 7 years later. So we were the tribe. We got into a little bit of trouble
Linda Bonner got into trouble?
Yes.
Listen, are you going to tarnish your McKinney star here?
Okay,
so spill the tea.
Okay, here's the big one. And I don't know why I remember this so vividly, but I was probably 7 and it was my birthday and I was dressed up. We had a little garden in the back of our garage. Of course, the little small 1,200 square foot house and the detached garage. And then behind it was a garden.
Wait,
four daughters plus mom and dad plus goldfish in 1,200 square feet.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that, back in the day, we just...
Okay. All right, so go back to the little garden.
So I decided, because we had extra time, I was going to go back there and just fiddle around. So I got my dress dirty, and I got in so much trouble. I got banned to my room, and they threatened me with not having my birthday party. It was the scariest thing I ever encountered. Of course, I did eventually, but, it wasn't a fun day for me. So I did redeem myself.
So that's Linda on the edge.
That was
dirt
totally on the edge. We were just like a little polite family, right? There were lots of rules. My dad was German, and so he always grew up with lots of rules, and my mom followed rules, and it was just very rules-based. And I will tell you that I did not raise my children that way because it was very, punishing.
Mm-hmm.
We did have a little more freedom when my kids were growing up.
Well, that's bizarre because, for me, I remember growing up and my dad's rule. All parents have rules, right? All parents have rules. And I remember thinking, same exact thing. I'm not going to do that with my kids. But I swear when my children were that age, I had the same exact rules. And there was a point where I asked myself, because I don't remember what it was, but I remember they did something, sent me over the edge, and I had to sit there for a minute in my, I wouldn't say seething rage, but I had some legit anger, and I was like, why am I mad about this? What is going on? It's like, so what did your mom and dad? So your mom was the homemaker. She was at home, but what did dad do?
Dad worked for a commercial ice rink company. I know.
So installing ice rinks.
He was in management.
Okay.
So this company built local ice rinks. I got to meet Gordie Howe, for those of you old enough to remember
the
him.
Hockey guy.
Yeah, we went to hockey games. We had tickets.
Yeah, Gordie Howe and Patty Waugh are like the two, OGs. But so you got to meet him.
I did. I got to meet him. I was young. Yeah.
So are you gifted and talented on ice?
Oh, heavens no. I can skate, but at this age, I don't want to fall. So I don't. But, my favorite is not ice skating. My favorite is roller skating.
Mm-hmm.
And I could go to the roller rink when my kids were young. We'd all go, and I would skate my little heart out. Again, that's not such a good place to be either because you've got all these little young kids that are whipping around, and it's another fall risk, which I'm not willing to take.
But you feel the call of the quad wheels.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
It's the music is going, and you're
so you
skating
shuffled.
around.
I can tell.
Yeah.
I can tell you got the moves there. Okay, so as a young Linda, was young Linda always at the skating rink?
No.
That was in the later years.
Yeah, that was later.
Okay. All right. So we know young Linda liked to get down in the dirt and soil her best Sunday dress at the risk of not having her birthday party. Tell us about high school Linda.
Believe it or not, I was very shy. I was a little bit overweight. And I grew up with this idea that, let me see how to word this. We were a middle-class family, and I was raised to don't expect more. This is who we are, and this is what we do. And that mindset carried me through for quite a few years. I struggled with that.
Mm-hmm.
To finally, kind of blossom and become the Linda Bonner I was meant to be. So it was, I was a band geek. Oh, let me share that.
Okay, so what instrument did you play?
Clarinet.
How big was your high school? Because, here in Texas, if your high school isn't at least
20, 30,000 people. It's not really a high school.
We had about 300.
300. Okay.
Yeah, tiny high school in Michigan. But it was fun. I had friends that were twins. I had just lots of girlfriends. I would ride around the neighborhood back when you could let your kids do that. I went everywhere and went swimming in people's pools that I visited and
okay, so they invited you.
Yes.
This wasn't on the edge, Linda, who just said, "Oh, there's a swimming pool," and you just jumped in? Okay.
No. Yeah, I would go swimming at friends' houses, and I did a lot of bike riding. I went everywhere.
No, it's because you had no choice. I'm like,
And then I walked to school uphill both ways.
In the snow.
Yeah, in the snow. Yeah, we did have snow in Michigan.
Yes, you do have snow in Michigan.
Yeah.
Oh man, so that's funny though, because you say that your dad had lots of rules, and my experience with like Germans, who are from born in Germany, grew up in Germany. Kind of like, said I'm Filipino, but I'm not Filipino. I was born in the United States and grew up very, very Americanized. But my German friends, always had this thing for excellence and to the nth degree and precision, all those other things. But yet your dad still said, that this is where we are. This is the cap, and we're not moving. It's not expected, or don't expect to move up from here. But band brings in, band is performance, and there's always someone who's better than you, and there's always going to be unless you're a prodigy, there's going to be a piece of music that's going to challenge you. Do you feel that we're middle class? Did that hinder you in school?
No, it did not. In fact, in band, I was always first or second chair because I had to have it.
Mm-hmm.
That meant something to me personally. Okay. So I was driven to be as good as I could, especially in band, because I also played piano. And so I had that kind of musical background. I loved band. The real reason I got into band was I didn't want to be in PE class and have to change in front of everybody. So anyway, it all turned out, right? Because I played all through middle school and high school.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't play past high school, but, did marching band and did all those things.
Mm-hmm. But that's funny. You talk about didn't want to change in front of people. I remember, and I do believe that is a shared phobia, or I don't want to say phobia, just a shared sentiment, especially through middle school years. Things are a little bit awkward. We're going through some changes body wise, and even into high school. But I remember PE in middle school, and they had showers there, and I thought, why did they build showers here? Nobody's ever going to use these showers. It was a great idea, but I was like, you know what? I'm fine being stinky. I'm fine being stinky because I think everybody shared that. So you're not alone in that. So band was the one place. So academically, though, how are you academically?
Oh, I was in the top of my class.
Of course.
Yeah,
of course.
Because I just had to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And part of it was my upbringing, right? You have to be the best and, pursue this greatness, but you are not doing it for any kind of accolades or attention,
mm-hmm.
right? You are in the background. But that was one way I could really feel proud of myself,
mm-hmm.
really feel like I was accomplishing something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that is also a legitimate thing, because I believe nowadays with all the social media and everybody trying to be viral, that there's this unspoken pressure of, man, you don't have enough friends. You post things, you don't have enough likes. And in the end, what does that really get you?
Stress.
Yeah, stress. And dependency upon someone else for your sense of worth or value. But knowing that here's the benchmark, straight A's, right? But to push yourself for the sake of, can I reach that mark? I think that I'm trying to say it. I've got like 4 different questions. Lord, help my 55-year-old mind to remember those moving forward. Okay, so we've gone through, young scandalous Linda to, academic and musical excellence Linda. What happens after high school?
I opened my own piano studio.
So you're entrepreneurial.
Oh, yes.
Were you entrepreneurial before?
Oh, yes.
Before
babysitting. Then? Back when you got paid $5 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. I had regulars.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Did you market yourself?
Yes, I did.
Oh, really?
I went around the neighborhood, right? And
hopped on your bike?
I was on my bike. Yeah. Oh, you bet. I really enjoyed that. It was making that little bit of money felt like freedom, right? And I didn't spend a lot of money because we were also very frugal. My dad, didn't make much money. So with 4 girls, we had everything we needed. Don't get me wrong. We never went without, but it wasn't anything extravagant. But just having that little bit of money that was mine felt very freeing. It felt empowering. Yeah.
So you opened your own. So obviously you're an excellent piano player.
I haven't played in forever, right? How your life changes. But I'll tell you what, music is really the foundation of my life. Music is always going. Music is important. I had a long, probably 10-year stint where I went dancing every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday that I could.
Scandalous.
Country dancing.
Scandalous, Linda.
None of this line dancing, the real stuff. So music is a real, still important foundation of my life. But I had a lot of children. I even had some adults. I had an older person. I think he was 80 and just decided he wanted to do something fun. It was a great time. It was called Gemini Piano Studios because I'm a Gemini, and rented a little space. It was fantastic. So yeah, that was the start of my entrepreneurship.
How about that? Okay, so piano. Who is your keyboard inspiration? Who could you just listen to? Who when you turned
Van Cliburn.
Van Cliburn. Okay.
Yeah. I never got to go to any concerts or see him, but
you have all of his records.
I did. Yeah. Again, those are gone too.
That's right. Yeah. Well, who has a record player?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Van Cliburn. So
I loved the classical music. So in band, you played some of that, but it was mostly, marching band kind of music and other things for concerts. But being able to play Bach and Mozart and just all of the classics, I loved that. Took piano lessons, and then I taught.
So you never dipped your toe over towards the other side, whether it's great keyboards. So Yanni, he was on the keyboard, right?
Yes.
Elton John.
I had all of their records.
Yeah. Okay. And so do you still stream those now? Listen
Every
to those
once
guys?
in a while.
Yeah. Do you ever branch out? Get a little rock and roll on you, or because the skating rinks, they don't. They play pop.
That's right.
Basically, they're playing Chicago
and, as long as
everybody
it's got
else,
a
right?
beat and a rhythm, I'm good to go.
That's too funny.
Right now, I am a country music fan, and I have been since I lived in Midland.
Okay.
And I love.
Okay, so classify your country music, because there's. We're talking Patsy Cline country music.
Okay, the Patsy Cline, the oldies, that's the stuff I dance to.
Okay.
The stuff I listen to is like Cody Johnson.
Oh, the new stuff.
And the new stuff.
So you're into the bro country.
Adam Doliak. There's some other ones. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So that's why you never. I don't know if people, when they think of the shining star of McKinney, Linda Bonner, associate you with Kane Brown and Luke Bryan and all those. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, I love to listen to that. I love the stories in the music. And it's just something that can run in the background. And I really enjoy just having some music playing all the time.
Okay. All right. So you opened the piano studio. We're still in Michigan.
Yes.
Okay. What was the impetus to all? You said Midland. What was the impetus from Michigan to the great Republic of Texas?
Okay, so I got married in 1981, and my husband at the time got a job with Texas Instruments.
Okay.
So we moved to Midland. and we spent some time there. First, we were in Houston, then moved to Midland, and then came to Dallas. So that's how I got here. And I actually worked for TI for a little bit as well.
Oh, you did?
Yes, for 10 years.
I forgot to ask, because you graduated high school and you opened your piano studio. Was there college?
There was college. Once after I got married, I went back to college and got my degree in computer information systems.
Really? So you're a nerd.
North Carolina Wesleyan.
Oh, you're a nerd on top of all of this.
It was a good kind of technical degree that allowed me to get some of that kind of experience where I could still take other classes.
So how old were you? So you got married relatively young?
No, I was it was 27. And 27, and went to school for a while, worked for a software company in North Carolina doing data books and just all kinds of things, kind of more management stuff. And then when we moved to Midland, then I started working for TI.
Oh, so
that was a fantastic time.
Okay, so we have quite the range of people who tune into this podcast. And were you a mom at that point when you were going to school?
No, I was not.
Okay.
I had my first child right after I graduated.
Okay.
There.
All right. Because I know that, for people listening, why were you inspired to go back to school? And what do you say to the person who's listening now who, and I just want to be clear that the old paradigm was you graduate high school, you go to college, you get a degree, you get a job. And that definitely is not the standard anymore. Because even myself, I did that, got my master's degree, and ask me how much of my master's degree I'm actually using now to put food on the table.
And how much would that be?
That's right. Very little. There's certain things of that master's degree, but for the most part, I'm not saying that college degrees are worthless, but for someone who's out there who graduated high school, who found themselves in a career or had a job or were entrepreneurial, who's thinking about going back to school, why did you make that move? And what would you say to the person who's considering going back to school?
Really ask yourself, what do you want your future to look like? If you're already in a career or you have a job or you're an entrepreneur, consider what this schooling will do for you. For me, it allowed me to get a corporate job. And that was something that I had always wanted. So when the move to Midland, and my husband at the time was with TI, it allowed me to get a job with Texas Instruments. And it was a fantastic job. I had every possible opportunity. I did everything from marketing to, I did a video series. I did, support for the sales staff. I traveled and I talked to companies about the products that we had. It was amazing. And I'm so glad I had all those experiences. And I know today that experience of being with all these people and getting that kind of community experience really served me well as I went forward. But I don't think it's absolutely necessary. Think about, what do you really want? And that's probably one of the hardest questions we can ask ourselves.
Yes, I still do a lot of work at the high school or with high school students, and the production and proliferation of technologies into the education process, and actually beyond that into everyday life, really has changed the landscape. And I haven't looked for a job anytime recently to see what are the qualifiers, but I remember looking at those ads, must have a 4-year degree, or must have these things, or equivalent experience. And I remember looking at some of those jobs going, well, I don't have a degree in that, and I can't get a job to get the years of experience in that, because it's kind of like, I was like, maybe they're writing that for somebody who was already at the company and they're just trying to promote them. But that was a pretty bold move. And so you worked for TI. Did you leave that job for something else or for another job, or did eventually you just say, I've had enough of this?
I left that job because I had my first child.
Okay. And that was just I want to be home for my child. And is that
Yes.
because that's what you experienced, or you just knew that that's what you wanted to do?
I knew that's what I needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
So my first child is Kevin. He was born with Down syndrome. He's amazing. He is now 36. Can't believe it. He's living an independent living, just absolutely thriving, living his very best independent life.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, there were medical needs. He had heart surgery. There were therapy needs. And it was just more than I really could handle doing everything. That was a time for me, and I made a choice to just be mom for that period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so glad I did.
How about that? And so you were living in Midland at that point?
Yes, he was
Okay.
from Midland.
Okay. And so let's go ahead and set the, not so much the Wayback Machine now, because, now we're coming forward. How did you wind up in McKinney?
It was Texas Instruments. My husband got a job in the Dallas area, running one of the TI plants, actually the one in Sherman. And so we moved here, and I decided not to get a job right away. I focused on Kevin, getting him therapies, finding the right school. He actually, went to one of the elementary schools right around the corner from here, Glen Oaks.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just a really special time, making friends, making connections, building that community, not just around him, but around me as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it gave me an opportunity to do other entrepreneurial things.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had multiple businesses. One was called Covers for Kids with a K. I made hooded towels for children because when Kevin was young, he had low muscle tone and it was hard for him to towel off. So I created towels with hoods, and then I started selling them to other people. I had a sewing business with my sister, and we made all kinds of pouches and purses and robes. She took over the sewing piece of the business. I kept the paper side of the business, which is now Linda Bonner Studios.
Mm-hmm.
So I did a lot of those kinds of things.
Oh,
yeah.
So when you moved to the area, was McKinney it? Did you scout around, or did you do what other people do? You landed in Plano or Richardson or any of those?
I scouted around because school was so important, right? I knew he would be in special education, and I needed to have the very best opportunities for him. Least restrictive environment and good teachers and a forward-looking program. So I visited Plano and Allen, and when I came to McKinney, that was it.
Mm-hmm.
It was exactly what I was looking for. At the time, the school system was so small, and it was the perfect place for him. So then, we settled here.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah.
And of course, we've had the superintendent, the current superintendent, because Sean Pratt, back then was probably a coach or just teaching somewhere in the ISD, but we've had him on here, and we have only good things to say about the McKinney ISD, and so you're a testament to that, and there are people we imagine that will tune in who will share this podcast with their friends, because we're always saying, this is the place to be. You should move here as fast as you can, and this is one of those golden moments that someone's going to say, "This is why you come to McKinney. It's for the schools because it's what's best for my children." Okay, so you kind of cued us into the next thing, Linda Bonner Studios. You shared with your sister, you kind of had this thing. So are your siblings, are they creative also? Were they in band?
One sister is creative in that she's a sewer, and she also played piano for a little while. My other two sisters aren't really creative, expressively creative, right? They have their own way of being creative in their life. I believe everyone is creative, right? I think people associate creativity with being an artist, and that's just not true.
That's right.
I mean, if you can make a nice meal or put a nice outfit together, you're creative.
That's right.
So I think my sister Diane, who now lives in North Carolina, I think she and we're the ones that are 2 years apart. We, shared a room when we were kids.
Yes.
I think we're probably the closest. And She is very creative. She makes beautiful coats right now that would just stun you. So anyway, so the paper piece, it started with, I started making little tiny note cards. In fact, I brought a gift for each of you.
Oh, well,
so I don't know if you can see this from here, but it's a tiny little note card. So I started making these little notes because I was giving little gifts to people as I went places. And that got me started on the card aspect of it. So I started making the little ones. People started asking for bigger cards. And then Linda Bonner Studios was born. In addition to the cards, I'm also an artist, and my specialty is miniature art. So I create art that is 2 inches by 3 inches, and I sell it through Artomat.
Yes,
which is a vintage.
At the Herd Craig.
Yeah, the Herd Craig has a machine, but these machines are all over the world. So that has become kind of my second passion as far as the creative life goes. I still create miniature art. I have multiple projects and absolutely love it.
And did you didn't mention this expression of art through, well, maybe it started when you dirtied up your dress in the garden. Maybe you're trying to paint something on your dress with the dirt in the garden, but you didn't mention this through any of, your backstory here. So how did you just one day say, you know what, I'm going to pick up a pen or a paintbrush and boom?
Basically, that's what happened.
Really?
Yes.
God, you got to embellish this. You got to say, there was a light, there was a chorus, an alien came down.
The skies opened up,
right.
And there was thunder and huge clouds.
That's right.
To tell you the truth, I was looking for something else to be creative. I was sewing these little specialty pouches with zippers and playing with fabric. And I had always loved paper. My mom was very creative. We used to do puzzles and collages and crafts all the time. And I think I was just automatically drawn to it. The textures, the colors, the combinations, embellishments, the texture of those, all of that just was very interesting. So, one day I decided I would make my own card for something, and it started with the little ones and just expanded from there.
You talking about these things. I remember it had to have been elementary school time. So sometime between 1st and 5th grade. Actually, I definitely know it was in 5th grade, but we had you're going to make a fruit basket out of popsicle sticks. Or that craft, and I was so excited about it. Well, one, we didn't have Amazon, so you could just buy, a gross or however many, dozen popsicle sticks. We had to
eat popsicles.
Darn it. Yeah, no. And so growing up, in the middle of Florida, it's always hot. And so I remember telling my dad, I need popsicle sticks. And so we had popsicles, but building that basket, my dad held on that basket for I don't know how long until it probably fell apart because there's only so much Elmer's glue that's going to hold popsicle sticks together. But I was so thrilled and proud of that project. And then later on, I think it was in middle school, we had to build a diorama. First you need a shoebox. It's like, Dad, I need a shoebox. And I don't know because my dad was very practical also, and. He didn't put limits on us in terms of, we're middle class. All that. He never said that, but he always pushed excellence. And I think that, I don't know if that's his Filipino upbringing and all those other things, but it was always, don't just do something to do it to your best, and be proud of it, and it doesn't matter what everyone else is doing. If yours is on par with someone else, is yours on par with your best? And that's all it was. But I remember building this diorama. It was like dinosaurs or something. But when it came show and tell time, everyone else looked like they just kind of slapped something together. But mine, boy, I had layers deep in there. And I was just, and I don't, my parents have since, gone home to be with the Lord, but I'm like, whatever happened to that? Because I'm like, that was like a moment for me. And then there was a phase of, I wanted to sketch everything. And in my mind, it looked genius. But when I looked back at it years later, I was like, what is this? What is this? And so talk to, you said it earlier, everybody is creative. It's just expressed differently. To the person who actually likes, fiddling around with textures or with layers of things, someone who's out there who, basically doubts themselves. What do you say to that person?
Experiment, discover, try something new. Go take a class, go online. Mm-hmm. There are so many opportunities. Join a group that does crafts. I think we limit ourselves, right? We have all this self-doubt. It's probably not going to look that good. Mm-hmm. Oh my, I wouldn't want to show it to anybody. Don't show it to anybody. Mm-hmm. Just do it for yourself. Mm-hmm. I get this immense satisfaction out of every single thing I create. Mm-hmm. When I create my little miniature art, one of them is called Tiny Dresses. And I make the little skirt as fabric, and I make the top part, and I put it on a teeny little canvas, and I give it a name. And I could just look at those, and they bring me so much joy. So this creativity doesn't have to be for someone else. It can just be for you. Mm-hmm. Right?
Okay.
And it is so good for your overall well-being, which is why I've taken my cards and I now teach card making workshops to senior communities. I watch them light up, including folks in memory care. They may come in quiet. They may come in crying. They may come in and just sit there and stare. They create a card, and you should see them light up. Look what I made. Mm-hmm. I did this. I'm creative. I'm an artist. Mm-hmm. It's so satisfying, right? We're working on cognition. We're working on memory skills. We are giving them a place to belong. Mm-hmm. We are giving them dignity. We are focusing on their capabilities and not their limitations.
That's inspirational. And I don't have my handkerchief on me. Oh, okay. So I'm just going to do the standard finger wipe here. I love that. And so, but that also, I want to ask you, you mentioned Kevin, and do I remember correctly? Is his birthday August 18?
It is. Yes. You share a birthday.
That's right. How did you find time with a son who had additional needs? How did you find time to really lean into this or experiment with this, or even, because, when you have a child with special needs, it just requires more time. So where did you find the time to work this in?
For me, it was all about building a good life for him, finding opportunities for him. When we were in Midland, he actually went to the Cerebral Palsy Center and did horseback riding. Here, I found places that were good fits for him. He attended My Possibilities when he was a little bit older. He was in school. He did different kinds of therapies. I had help, and I had a community of friends around me that actually helped me care for him. But the most important thing for me was giving him independence. So by doing that, it gave me an opportunity to pursue things for my own. I think a lot of people who would look at me and say, "Oh, you have a child with a disability." And I'm saying, "Oh, no. He taught me patience, resilience, how to express myself, so many things. He taught me all these things." And watching him with his perseverance and his dedication and his "I'm not going to give up on this" was really helped me build my life as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we had these parallel lives for a long time. That didn't happen. I had a lot of depression and, really struggled in the beginning when he was born. And that went away as I started to build friendships. I built friendships for him. I built this life for him.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it wasn't about just only taking care of him. By giving him independence, teaching him, it gave me an opportunity to build my life as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's amazing. And so now with would you say that your artwork, and especially, I just think, because, like I said, I'm trying to relate to or share information with our audience, because I've known you so long. There are things that just fall into place for me, but, it's like getting it out there. Do you feel that all of your detail work in some way or another is therapeutic for you?
Absolutely. It really is, because I can let go of everything.
Mm-hmm.
There is nothing except, of course, country music playing in the background.
Or a good Van Cliburn record.
Yes. And I can just sit and create.
Mm-hmm.
It's fulfilling. It's satisfying. It really brings me joy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's very therapeutic.
Mm-hmm. And
letting the rest of the world just go away for an hour,
mm-hmm.
2 or more, depending on how long. Because I can sit there and lose all track of time.
Mm-hmm.
It's really beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's nice though, because I do believe that nowadays we do live in a very stress-filled environment, and not the least of which is having the internet and media immediately at our fingertips to just add more stress. Do you like track on a very detailed level, like world events and things like that?
I do not.
Mm-hmm.
I don't watch the news. I
Mm-hmm.
don't listen to the news. I know about current events, but those things give me a lot of stress.
Mm-hmm.
And I just know that about me.
Mm-hmm.
And so some people may say, oh, you're just avoiding it. Maybe I am.
Mm-hmm.
But I know for me to live this very best life, I need to do it my way.
Mm-hmm.
And my way is I'm not going to get wrapped up in the hype and all of the drama that goes along with what's going on in the world today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm aware, but I'm not innately involved in that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just what I choose to do.
Mm-hmm.
I will admit I can get lost in scrolling. I'm a big LinkedIn girl. And so, it pops up on the watch or the phone. I got like another, 3 or 4, impressions. And the impulse is, oh, let me go look and see who it was.
Yes.
And I have to stop myself.
Yeah, you gotta fight against that endorphin addiction to like, I need to post something else now.
Yes.
And let me judge myself that I got 20 likes on my first one. If I don't get at least 20, preferably 21, now I'm failing. So I need to go post again. And
no one's immune to that, I think,
right.
these days.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a conscious decision.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So what you have here, you have your analog work. Have you gotten into digital artistry?
I have not.
Really? So do you don't own an iPad and a stylus?
I do not.
Really?
Everything I do is I hand cut paper. I purchase stickers. I don't know if
absolutely.
we can show some
Sure.
of these. So this is a recent card that I did for a memory care facility. They wanted to do some St. Patrick's Day cards. And so what I do is I create this. I pre-cut all the paper in 10 little kits, and then I teach that to them, and we basically assemble the card.
Mm-hmm.
Here's one of my latest ones, one of my favorites, and this one for spring. And again, I love the design process, so I might sit for 20 or 30 minutes and just start pulling out papers. Oh, I really like that paper. What goes with it? So for me, it's this whole cathartic kind of process,
Mm-hmm.
designing the card, cutting the paper, putting it all together.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I really love.
Mm-hmm.
I love that piece of it. So no, I haven't done the digital.
Oh, Man. Now, do you sell the kits or you only sell the finished products?
I sell the finished product. I haven't considered selling kits. No one has really asked me that.
Mm-hmm.
The kits are basically designed so that I go in to a senior living community or a disability nonprofit or a community organization, and I share the love of creating greeting cards with them with all the pre-cut paper. So they're basically going through assembly. And the reason I'd like that, it leaves time for connection, for conversation. You hear stories.
Yes.
It's fascinating. It's a one beautiful hour.
Yeah, I'm amazed that you can get it done in an hour. I've done work with a couple of senior care assisted living facilities when like my most recent one was Thanksgiving last year, the year before, I don't remember anymore. Anyway, there's a great senior care facility over in Frisco, and they had this inner courtyard that they had decorated with pumpkins and bales of hay and things like that. And they invited the family of the residents to come and get a family photo. But you touched on it right there, the stories that they shared, and that's why I got a little emotional. You were talking earlier because it's like, I love going to those places because, they have such a rich history and you can see it. At first they're just kind of there, but when they start to talk, you can tell that they're living it again. And I just think that's amazing. I feel, I've got the emotions again of that, but that's so cool. But how do you get it done in an hour? Because you're listening to them talking and they're doing this. Are they
create 2 cards in an hour.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, that's insane. Like, so,
we just do one piece of paper at a time. Everybody pull out the black piece and we're going to put that on. And they have big jumbo glue sticks. And we just talk in between.
Oh,
it works.
Amazing. I love that. Okay, so that's the art side of things. And the Artomat, which I was introduced to, you were at the Herd Craig at that point.
Yes, I was. That's how I found out about Artomat. We actually got our first Artomat machine.
Yes. And are they repurposed cigarette machines? Is that what they were?
They are.
Okay.
So it's the guy's name is Clark Whittington. He lives in North Carolina. He's an artist. And he started this whole process because he was looking for ways to get his art out into the public. So he came up with this idea. He collects vintage cigarette machines. He's got a warehouse. They refurbish the inside. So now it dispenses original art. Everything is 2 inches by 3 inches in a little box with cellophane wrapped around it. There are probably 1,200 artists from all over the world. There are a multitude of machines also all over the world. I've gotten notes from Australia and South America that people found my art in those machines. It is really something special.
Yeah, no, that's I thought that the Artomat was something that was exclusive to the Herd Craig, to McKinney. I've held that in my mind for the longest time, and I encourage you to because they do tours, correct?
Yes, they do. The Herd Craig is a beautiful historic home,
and they also hold the mother-daughter tea.
Yes.
Which is an amazing event also, and that's annually, but that's a waiting list thing now, right?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah. So definitely, our viewers, if you have not availed yourself of taking a tour of the Herd Craig, you owe it to yourself because there are so many things, and the Artomat's actually in the carriage house.
It is.
And learning about that and seeing the venue space that's in there is truly phenomenal. But to see the Artomat itself, I mean, it's straight out of the 50s, 60s, vintage-looking machine.
You're putting your $5 in, and you are pulling the lever, and your art drops out. It's a beautiful moment.
Yeah. But the real question is, do you buy the art for yourself, or do you buy it to give it to someone else?
Whatever you like.
And it's the same exact thing with your cards. Elizabeth loves your cards, and whenever I see that she's bought some more, I look at them, in their cellophane envelope, and I'm like, this is too pretty to give away. It's too, but she'll sign it and she'll send it off, and people have commented, that they really cherish the card because it's not something that you can go to, the card aisle. I mean, there's some creative cards out there, and they've got, everything from, animals with big buggy eyes to, celebrities or they'll play songs and all those other things. And I mean, those are very creative also, but they're not unique. they're not unique. There have been times where I've gotten the same birthday card, or we've gotten the same, anniversary card from someone else, and we cherish the thought, and we don't, so for all my friends who are tuning in who send cards, I'm not downplaying it, saying, we look at that and go, oh, it's not a Linda Bonner card.
But it could be.
But it could be. It could be, because you have options. But when Elizabeth sends those cards, not only the people will, message her about, thank you for, thinking of me, but, they'll 9.5 times out of 10, they'll say something about the card itself. And I think that's amazing that, that you have that. Okay. So, I'm looking, we're quickly running out of time. Let's get to your book.
Okay.
What was the inspiration for it, and who is this book for?
Okay. The book is called Blessed with Extraordinary. In fact, I am in the process of publishing my second version of this with updates. So Blessed with Extraordinary is a combination. It is my journey of raising my son, Kevin, who has Down syndrome. It's a book of hope and encouragement and resources for families and caregivers. But it's also a look at advocacy and how communities can advocate and, build communities where people with disabilities are not only included, but they're included from the beginning. They have a seat at the table. They have a voice. I cover, building a social network for your child. I cover some of the legal aspects. To me, this is a book for anyone to read because it shares the journey, yes, but it also gives you a glimpse into real life. And this real life is just like any other parent. Ups and downs, joys and challenges. And so my big message is I really want to drive dignity and belonging for people with disabilities, as well as seniors. And I do that through the card making. But I want people to understand that, our friends, neighbors, loved ones, employers, employees with disabilities are just like us. They want exactly the same things. They have the same needs for food, clothing, and shelter, to be challenged, to be included, to be, part of a friend group, to have a good, meaningful employment, to have a safe place to live. So that's really my message. And I'm really excited to have found LinkedIn. It's allowed me to really share this advocacy message with so many people. And I now have a publication on Substack that I can share this with. I want to build understanding, right? Without understanding, you have exclusion. Understanding brings inclusion. It brings people to the table. It allows us to build this vibrant world where everyone is seen. Because people with disabilities don't really have special needs. They have all their needs are human. They might need certain accommodations. They might need help. But they are a part of our human diversity and always have been. So I'm very excited to be getting the second book out, and I welcome questions. If people want to ask me a question about what it's like or tell me about how I can advocate in the community, I want to be that resource for them. I want to share and build understanding. That's my main purpose.
So do you ever plan on creating a website resource for people?
I have a website.
You have a website?
Yes. So they can find me at blessedwithextraordinary.com. It has all of my resources, my book. I have many digital documents for families, like an All About Me document and a doctor visit document. You can find all those there. My blog, so it has a lot of topics that both families and caregivers, as well as the general public, would be interested in.
Excellent. Okay. Yeah. So you've embraced the digital world, but just not in art.
That's right. In art, I've got to keep it real.
That's right. Okay, so you mentioned your Blessed with Extraordinary website. What about Linda Bonner Studios? How do people get to see what they can buy from you?
They can go to lindabonnerstudios.com, and it has, cards for sale. It has the miniature art for sale. It has a blog. They can learn more about, what I do on a daily basis, the source of my creativity, all those kinds of things. So,
now, can people special request things? I'm looking for
Absolutely, on the contact page.
Okay.
Yes, and I love special requests. I had one recently where this friend of mine was going to celebrate a birthday with a friend of hers who was turning 85, and her favorite thing were birds. So she asked me to create 10 cards with birds on the front. Let me tell you what, I had so much fun. Talking about a chance to get really creative. And different colors. I cut out birds. I found bird, embellishments. So I will do all those. I do custom anniversary cards, custom birthday cards. I just did one for someone that was, turning 65. So we put balloons and some other fun things on it. I'll put their name. I can personalize it. So,
I love that. And, the best part about that is that you will not find that card in the CVS aisle, in the Walgreens aisle, or Walmart, Target, wherever. That is a one-off. Most cards, admittedly, they come to the house. We read them, we smile, we laugh. We Elizabeth and I will talk about remember when with the people, but eventually they'll either go into a box or, they'll wind up in landfill. We cherish the sentiment that of course is priceless. But when you have a card that is so unique, and admittedly, I talked about that diorama, like seeing the 3D, the depth. I was like, I can add in layers of grass, layers of trees, layers of animals, rocks and other things. And oh, by the way, I'm also going to, break out the markers and the crayons or whatever paints, and I'm going to put a sun in the background, and all these things. When I see your cards, that it just brings me back to that. But the best part is that people nowadays can still have a great expression of, I want to say intimacy, because intimacy carries certain romantic things there, but there is an intimate level to friendship, to relationship that says, hey, I thought of you, and this is the depth that I thought of you, and you put that into a tangible form. Well, we have completely burned up our time.
Oh my gosh, this has been so much fun, Fred.
Thank you so much, Linda, for coming in. And we will have Linda's information in the show notes, and you definitely need to check out, all that Linda Bonner has to offer, whether it is, you're looking for just a way to realize that, there is something more that I can do out there, if not for someone else, but just for me, just for you, because there's definitely a calming and benefit to that. Or if you're thinking about that someone else special, whether it's they need this book, this Blessed with Extraordinary, or they just need some awesome artwork, or if somebody who's at a senior living facility and they're looking for someone to come in and just have a great time with the guests and residents there, be sure to contact them. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been the latest episode of the McKinney Podcast.
Thanks again for listening to and watching the McKinney Podcast. We drop a brand new episode every Monday morning. We'd love to connect with you and hear your thoughts, suggestions, and guest recommendations. You can message us on Facebook or send an email to us at mail@mckinneypodcast.com. This entire production is a passion project for James and Fred and our lovely wives, Elizabeth and Allison. We're so grateful to have you along for the journey. We look forward to seeing you again next week and hopefully in person around town. That's all for now, ladies and gentlemen. Make it a great day.